Okay, good morning from Canada. My name's Joanna, if we've not met before, and this is our weekly student development session. You're joining me from my home here in Coquitlam, and today is part two of a body conditioning session. So in part one, we talked about the importance of strength building in our yoga practice and how we can, of course, cultivate strength in some of our specific asana. However, very often you might find that you're guiding more length and space creating asana than maybe strength asana. So, because of that reason, I've started to weave in some body conditioning exercises during some of my classes to help with the strength portion. So, we're not always moving into that super open, flexible space, but we're actually balancing that with the strength and stability that we need to remain healthy in this body. So last session, you'll be able to find it on the Facebook page. We looked at abdominal exercises, we looked at the hips, and we looked at arms and shoulders. And so today we're going to focus on the back and the legs, and we may go back to the hips because there were a few other exercises I didn't get to last time. So I'll try and squeeze those in today as well. Like I said, all of these exercises are completely optional and they maybe just provide a little add-on to your offerings, especially if you're working towards a challenging peak pose. You might like to add some of these exercises into your sequence. I'm going to be using a TheraBand today in some of the exercises. This is just a stretchy band. This one of the studios I work out of have these, so we use them. If you have one at home, you might grab it today and use it today. I understand that not every yoga studio is going to have access to these, but maybe if you work in a gym or a recreational space, then they may have these that you can borrow. They just add a little extra resistance to what you're doing. And if you start to make these exercises a regular part of your offering, your students are going to get used to doing them and they're going to build strength. So you might find that adding the band gives them a new challenge. So I'll show you how to use that as well. Feel free to join in with these exercises. It's not going to be completely equal on both sides of the body though. I'll just let you know that now because we only have half an hour and this is more of a workshop style experience. So I might be doing something on one side and then I don't repeat it today on the other side. So bear that in mind. Equally, if you just want to sit and take notes and use this as a resource for later, then please do that too. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I love to connect with you and to hear how these classes are helping you, or if you have questions or considerations for what we might offer next. So feel free to write to us. I'm going to take my little notes with me so we don't get off track, and I'll meet you on your mat. Okay, so we're going to start today focusing on the back. So for some back strengthening exercises, we're going to face down on our mat with our front body resting to the floor. So you can come on down when you're ready. And you're going to begin by lengthening your arms in front of you and lengthening your legs behind you. So you've got the tops of your feet to the floor and your palms are facing down to the floor. You can rest your forehead to the floor, or if that's not comfortable, maybe you encourage your students to add a block under the forehead. And to start, we're going to focus on lifting the arms. So as you inhale, you're going to lift your right arm and maybe lift your chin and your chest up. And then as you exhale, you'll bring that hand, your chest and your forehead back down. Same on the left side. Inhale, lift your left hand, lift your chest, and then exhale, bring that down. Let's try that one more each side. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, down. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale, down. All the while you're doing that, you want to keep the tops of your feet rooting down to the floor. You don't want your feet to float away. So you're pressing the front of your pubic bone down into the mat. You can try this with the legs, either keeping the arms out in front of you or hands under the forehead. As you inhale, lift your right leg up behind you, keeping the top of the right foot and the top of the right knee facing down to the floor. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale to lower. One more time each side. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, left leg up. And exhale to lower. Now let's explore the arms back out in front of you. And we're going to take the right arm up with the left leg up. Let's see how that goes. Inhale, right arm up, left leg up, chest up, chin slightly up. Exhale, lower all of that back to the mat. Inhale, left arm up, right leg up. Wait for the exhale breath and then start to lower. Again, one more time each side. Inhale, right arm, left leg rises. Exhale to lower. And left side. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And exhale to lower. Now, when I do that, I can really feel that building in my lower back. So if you have students with back sensitivities, you're going to ask them to be very mindful during any of that and choose the levels that work for them. So maybe they focus on the arms, or maybe they focus purely on the legs. Maybe they don't do both together. So there's ways to build it as feels appropriate. Further to this, there's variations of Shalambhasana. So we can either play with resting our hands all the way down the sides of our body and interlacing our hands on our lower back, rolling our shoulders back, and inhale, lifting our chin and our chest away from the floor like this. Exhale, beginning to lower. You could also do this with adding in the legs. Inhale, lift your chin, your chest, your arms, your feet, your shins, your knees, your thighs. Basically lifting as much of yourself away from the floor as you can, pointing your toes. And then using your exhale to come all the way down. Again, you can repeat that. Inhale to rise up. Exhale to lower. Other variations of Shalambhasana might be to place your hands behind your head. So your fingertips are resting to the back of your head. Your elbows are wide. Inhale, lift your head and your shoulders away from the floor. Maybe lift your feet, shins, thighs away from the floor. And exhale to lower. I find that when you bring the hands closer to the head, it gets more challenging to rise up. So bear that in mind as well. I'll give you one last piece here. Arms out in front of you, slightly wider than shoulder distance apart in a gentle V shape. Inhale, lift your chin, your chest, your shoulders, your arms off the floor Maybe lift the legs. And you can play here. I like to imagine you're skydiving. So what would it feel like to widen your arms and your legs so you make a big star? And then exhale, bring everything back to parallel. This one's challenging. Inhale, arms wide, legs wide, toes pointing. Exhale, bring everything back to parallel. One more of those. Inhale to widen. You're a skydiver now. And exhale, parallel. Come on down. Hands underneath your forehead. Exhale your breath. A nice release from this is gently rocking your legs and your hips side to side, releasing any hold in the hamstrings and the glutes, giving that lower back a little bit of love, a little bit of time to rest. Another nice counter pose would be half frog here on your front body. So you could rest your right ear to your right hand, slide your left knee up the side of your mat, and anchor the front of your pelvis towards the floor. And breathe down into your lower belly and let that breath wrap around your lower back. You can also do that same exercise on the other side, taking as much time as you need on each side. I encourage you to do something a little more neutral for the spine before you take them into child's pose, which is probably what the body is craving at this point, is to come up onto your hands and knees, widen the knees, big toes together, and eventually find child's pose. The reason I'm saying do something neutral between those Shalambhasana exercises and child's pose is because the back's going to be feeling a little bit sensitive and going very quickly from flexion to extension, flexion to extension, flexion to extension is almost like you are bending a credit card. This is how I got taught it. You're bending a credit card forwards and back, forwards and back, forwards and back. When you do that too quickly and too vigorously, what happens? The card snaps. So we want to be very careful with the spine. If we've been doing a lot of Shalambhasana, give yourself a little bit of time in that neutral position, a little bit of rocking, swaying, maybe those half frogs, bringing a little bit of space and breath back to that lower back and the hips, and then take yourself to child's pose for that big release. Okay, we're going to move on from the back and we're going to take ourselves to the legs. So for legs, we're going to start standing. I'm just going to take my socks off because I want my feet to be grippy to the mat. Okay, so standing, we're going to face the side of our mat to begin, and we're going to turn our toes out, heels turned in. We're coming into goddess. So you're getting nice and low in your pelvis. You want to check that your knees are over your ankles, and you want to check that your knees are tracking your second and third toes, meaning the knees aren't rolling in or too far out. You also want to check that your pelvis is moving directly between your two legs, meaning you don't want to lean forwards with your chest and stick your pelvis back. Imagine that you are sitting or leaning even against a wall. So you're going directly down. This is where we start to get into those strong thighs, right into the quadriceps. Option to have your hands on your hips. Option to bring your arms into goddess with your elbows as high as your shoulders and your palms facing forwards. So you can start to develop a little more strength in the shoulders as well. From here, you're going to press down into your feet and you're going to inhale to come all the way up, make a star shape with your body at the top and squeeze the glutes. And as you exhale, you're going to bend the knees and bend the elbows back to your goddess, sitting as low as you can. And that's it. Inhale to rise up, pressing into the feet. Exhale to bend. And again, inhale to rise up. This is really nice to add into a standing sequence. Exhale to bend. From here, you can stay. You can take static holds. You could add in a lovely chest opener, drawing the shoulders and elbows back, lifting the chin and chest up, and then maybe exhale to bring your fingertips and elbows together, chin to chest. Maybe that feels nice, opening the heart and drawing the fingers and elbows together, chin down. Bring your arms back to goddess or hands to your hips. Play with lifting your right heel away from the floor. You can stay here or you can make tiny little pulses. Again, see what feels good. This makes your students feel unsteady. Encourage them to keep both feet on the floor. You could lower that right heel and do the same on the left side. Left heel lifts, little pulsing activity. You can really feel this starting to build in the thighs and in the hips. You could do alternative, right heel lifts, left heel lifts, adding a little pulse in between each side. Right and left, right and left. And finally, what would it feel like to lift both heels up and maybe hold here? Whew. It really starts to build. And I can feel it in my arms and shoulders a little too, holding the arms here. All right, lower those heels, lengthen those legs towards straight, shuffle the feet in. So as you could see, that one might be lovely if you're doing some warriors. You might counterpose that with coming into a wide-legged forward fold. It's a nice one to help provide the strength for when you get into some of your balancing asana. For the next one, I invite you to place your band, if you have one, around your thighs. Again, you can do these exercises without the band. I just wanted to show you what it would look like if you do choose to use it. Okay, so band is around the thighs. You could stand at the top end of your mat for this one. I'm just going to face the long edge of the mat because then I'm directly in front of you. And you're going to stand with your feet your hip distance apart and parallel. I'm stalling a little bit because my thighs are hurting from the last exercise, but we're going to sit low in a child's pose. So weight starts to come more into the heels and into the hips. Your hands can be on your hips or at your heart space. We know this shape well. We're going to add in some strength work from here. We're going to take our thighs wide for 2 and then back to parallel for 2. You're going wide for 2 and back to parallel for 2. Now, for people with knee sensitivity or ankle sensitivity, this might not be a good option for them. So if you are guiding this for some of your students, those that don't feel like this is a good choice for them would stay in the static hold. If you're taking these wide knee option, you might notice that the weight rolls into the outsides of your feet a little bit. That's very normal because you're turning your legs out slightly. You can also take this into a pulsing moment. So letting the thighs go as wide as is comfortable and then add a tiny pulse. So you're making those legs work very hard, pressing into the resistance of your band. And maybe you're sitting a little bit lower. And then come back up, all the way up to stand. And exhale your breath. I'm going to show you one more thing you can do with the band. And this one's fun because you can choose to have the band around the thighs or the band around the shins. Now, I will tell you that having the band around the thighs for the next one is slightly more accessible than having the band around your shins. I'll show you both so you can see. But having the band around your shins, you have to work a bit harder to keep the band wide because otherwise it's just going to drop off your legs. So this one, some students will be able to do this in the middle of the room. It does require balance. Some students will go to the wall for this one, or if you have access to a bar or chairs, they could use those. I'll work with the right side. So again, both feet are parallel, facing forwards. You're going to take your right foot out to the right. So you start on the ball of your right foot, just so that you can start to distribute the weight. Basically, you want to draw all the weight down your left leg and into your left foot. Your right foot gets really light and comes off the floor. Right foot is flexed. Your right toes and your right knee are facing forwards. From here, we're going to go up for 2 with the band and down for 2, just hovering that foot away from the floor. Up for 2 and down for 2. Now this one's going to get into your outer hip and thigh and back into those glutes of yours. You can see why you might need a support, something to rest into, or a balancing aid to support you with this one. Or you might encourage your students to put the right foot down every time it lowers back to the floor. You can also do this with a pulsing element, so taking the right leg as high as you can, keeping it slightly turned in, and then take little pulses, little pulses, little pulses. Yes. Or with the right leg high like this, you could take circles. Circles in one direction, making them as big and as slow as you can, trying to keep your belly button drawn in, your chest lifted, trying to keep equal length in both sides of your waist. Oh my goodness, I can really feel this. And then take those circles in the other direction. These outer hip and thigh exercises really help us feel more balanced and steady in our lunges, in our balancing asana. So very, very important and beneficial. All right, I'm going to come down from that side. I'm just going to shimmy the band to my shins now so you could see the difference at the shins. I have to stand with my feet a little bit wider just to begin so the band doesn't fall down. I'll do that same rhythm of exercises on the left side so you can see. So you step out on the ball of your left foot, root down through your right leg and right foot. Hands can be at your heart or your hips, wherever is comfortable. And then we flex that left foot, left toes facing forwards, and begin to go up for 2 and down for 2. I can't lift the leg as high with the band around my shins, so I have to work a lot harder to rise it and lower. So this might be for students that need a little bit extra. Maybe they're very strong in their legs and hips. Again, at the top here, you could do the little pulsing. And you could do those lovely circles in one direction and in the other direction, trying not to move the upper body or sway it forwards or back. All right, I'm stopping because that's hurting. And I'm going to shimmy the band down and just fling it to one side. Now we're going to move into a combination exercise that works balance, coordination, and hip and leg strength. So this will be the last one today because we're running out of time. But it's a fun one and it involves a lot of concentration. So feel free to play with this with your students. It also brings in a little more of that asana posture and allows you to build sequence. So we're going to start, we're inhaling both arms up to the sky. As you exhale, you're going to sit down in your chair pose. And then we'll just rise up from there, rising the arms back up to the sky. And exhale, lower your arms down by your side. Let's do that again. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, sit in your chair. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, widen the arms down. One more of those. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, chair. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, widen the arms. Let's mix it up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back on the ball of your left foot. Inhale, rise your arms up. High lunge. If you want, you can always lower that back knee. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, spiral to the right, bringing your left elbow over your right thigh. Inhale, back to your lunge with your arms over your head. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Step forwards, find your chair pose. And then inhale, rise your arms over your head. Exhale, lower your hands to the mat. Step back on the ball of that left foot, same side. Inhale, rise your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, spiral to the right, drawing your left elbow over the top of your right thigh. Inhale, back to center with your arms over your head. Exhale, draw your fingers to the floor, step forwards. Inhale, find your chair pose, stay low. Exhale, fingertips to the floor, step back, left foot. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, spiral to the right, left elbow over right thigh. Inhale, come back to your lunge, steady and slow. Exhale, fingertips to the floor, step forwards. Exhale, come back to chair. And this time, rise all the way up and take your arms wide. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Hopefully you started to feel that build a little bit on your right hip. You could repeat that as many cycles as feels good to really build that fire. The key is staying in the lunge and then coming back to the chair pose and not standing up. So keeping everything low. We'll do a few rounds of that on the left side so you can see the flow again. Inhale, rise both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back on the ball of your right foot. Inhale, rise your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, lift through your chest. Exhale, spiral to the left, right elbow over your left thigh. Inhale, arms back over your head. Exhale, fingers to the floor, step forwards. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fingers to the floor, step back, right foot. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, spiral to the left, right elbow over your left thigh. Inhale, arms back over your head. Exhale, fingers to the floor, step forwards. Inhale, chair pose, stay low in those hips. Exhale, fingers to the floor, step back, ball of the right foot. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, spiral to the left, right elbow over your left thigh. Inhale, back to center, arms over your head. Exhale, fingers to the mat, step forwards. Inhale, find your chair. And then come all the way to stand up as you exhale, lower the arms down. Find Tadasana, roll your shoulders, shake out your legs and your arms, and reset. So you can see how that one would build a lot of fire, a lot of warmth, and also cultivate that strength piece that we've been working with, as well as balance, coordination, and it's a lot of fun. So you can play with that. Also, of course, like I said, you could modify it with the back knee on the floor. You could take bits of that out, especially if you're dealing with students that are not comfortable coming up and down off the floor so much, or have any dizziness or vertigo or high blood pressure. You would obviously make adjustments for them. Maybe that's adding blocks under the hands so they don't come as low to the floor. But yeah, that was today's practice. It went by very, very quickly. I can definitely feel that in my hips. I hope some of these exercises are useful. that you do take them into your own classes, that your students enjoy them, that you enjoy them, maybe in your personal practice. I've certainly noticed a difference myself, being quite an open, mobile body. I was starting to feel very achy and sore with the repetition of some of the yoga asana that I was doing. And since I've added this strength element, my body's feeling a lot better. So, yeah, I really thought it's important to share this with you today. Thank you so much. Again, feel free to reach out to me with questions or comments or requests for what you would like to learn about next. I want this to be a platform that supports you, or we all do. We want this to be a platform that supports you and where you're at with your learning. So let us know what you want to hear more about. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. And happy spring if you're on this side of the world or in the Northern Hemisphere. Okay, take care. Bye.